Saying good morning every morning doesn't make you romantic, it makes you predictable. And in the game of attraction, predictability becomes invisible. Thousands of men start their day by texting the same thing. Good morning, beautiful. Thinking that keeps interest alive. But all it keeps is the silence of her ignored gaze, without response, without impact, without trace. It's not about stopping greetings, it's about how you greet her. Because when a woman receives the same text every day from different men with the same tone, they all end up sounding the same, and what sounds the same doesn't generate anything. Saying good morning isn't the problem. The problem is that it carries no intention, no energy, no presence, just a passive attempt to say, "Here I am in case you give me your attention." And believe me, that doesn't arouse desire. It only transmits anxiety. That's why this video exists, so that you don't say the same thing as everyone else, so that each word has an effect, and so that if you're going to show up in her morning, you do it with something that makes her stop and think about you. Today I'm going to give you 6 phrases to replace that automatic good morning. Phrases that get her out of her routine, that activate her mind, and that leave an emotion attached to the rest of her day. If you're tired of being ignored, if you want to change the way she responds to you, stay until the end. After this, you're not going to send a greeting, you're going to send an impact. Saying good morning every day sounds good. In theory, it's polite, it's attentive, it's affectionate, but if you're doing it with the hope of creating a connection, I have some uncomfortable news for you. You're achieving the opposite. When something is repeated without emotion, without intention, without novelty, it becomes noise. And the classic good morning, beautiful, is one of the most common noises on the phone of any attractive woman. She wakes up, checks her cell phone, and there are the same old messages, from the same old men, with the same old words. Good morning, beautiful. Have a beautiful day, thinking about you since I woke up. It sounds sweet, but to her, they aren't messages. They're replicas, copies, validation templates. They don't speak to her. They speak to the general concept of a beautiful woman, and that's why they don't generate anything. Do you know what really generates an impact? When a woman feels like the message was written just for her, that you couldn't have sent it to anyone else, and a generic good morning never makes it. Now add this to that. Many men don't send that message out of tenderness, but out of fear. Fear of disappearing, fear of not being there, that she'll talk to others and you won't show up. So you write to her every day at the same time with the same words, but what you're projecting isn't consistency, it's anxiety. The message doesn't say I remember you, it says please don't forget about me. And you can smell it, you can feel it, you can notice it. The daily greeting becomes an empty routine. And worst of all, she often responds out of courtesy, not out of interest. An emoji, a thank you, a heart, but she doesn't feel it, she's just following the script. If you want her to see you differently, you can't sound like the background. You have to be the exception. And that only happens when you speak from a different place, from intention, from observation, from the emotional self-control that a man has who doesn't need to prove anything. A stoic man doesn't write to provoke a response. He writes because he has something to say, and it shows in the tone, in the moment, in the difference. Now think about this. That sentence you're about to send could be written by anyone else or just by you. If the answer is any old thing, then don't write it, because a woman can receive 100 identical messages and forget them all, but one different one with presence, she'll save that one, she'll remember that one. What comes next are not sentences to sound cool, they're sentences to make your presence felt without seeming needy. And if you use them well, you won't be the one who says good morning. You'll be the one who left something on her mind all day. And sentence 1, I dreamed about you, but not how you imagined. This sentence is like a spark in a room full of gas. It doesn't make any noise, it doesn't explain itself, but it ignites the tension. I dreamed about you, but not in the way you imagine. It's the opposite of I dreamed about you and it was beautiful. It's not romantic or sweet or obvious. It's a gentle tease, an invitation to her imagination. And that's worth more in terms of attraction than 10 messages in a row with heart emojis. Why does it work? Because it opens a door that you can't see and, most importantly, it doesn't open all the way. You give her a clue, but not the map. You give her an idea, but not the ending. And that's pure gasoline for her mind. She's not going to think how nice. She's going to think what exactly she dreamed about. It was good, it was weird, it was provocative. And while she's thinking that, you're winning without begging. Without explaining, without sending paragraphs. For example, you send her the message in the morning with no further context. I dreamed about you, but not in the way you imagine. She sees the notification, she can't ignore it, and if she has a little inner game, she'll take the bait, she'll ask you, she'll answer you, and you're in. If he answers, you can say something like, that was weird, you were the boss. I obeyed, very unstoic of me. Quote. There you can add sarcastic humor, a playful tone, and a clever wink. But if he doesn't respond right away, that's fine too, because it's not a phrase to get you, it's a phrase to leave a mark. This line isn't looking for love, it's looking for intrigue, it's not trying to please, it's trying to keep lingering in his head. And if you succeed, you're no longer the one who greeted, you're the one who left a story untold, and that's remembered more than any good morning, beautiful. Phrase 2. I was going to say good morning to you, but I liked it better to leave you thinking. This phrase is a statement of silent power. It doesn't beg, it doesn't seduce, it makes you uncomfortable with style. I was going to say good morning to you, but I liked it better to leave you thinking. Yes, it sounds arrogant, and that's precisely why it generates attraction, because when a man allows himself to say this calmly, what he projects is not ego, it's emotional control. While others type like automatons, good morning, princess. Hello, beautiful, how did you wake up? You let her know that your silence also communicates, that you didn't say hello because you chose not to, and at that moment you have the framework. This phrase disconcerts her because it implies that you were present, that you thought about her, but that you didn't need to write to her to validate your presence, and that throws her off script. Imagine that she uploads a morning selfie or a casual story. You don't react, you don't fall into the trap of responding like everyone else. You wait a few hours, then you blurt out, I was about to say good morning, but I like letting you think more. You're not saying I ignored you, you're saying, I knew you were thinking about me even though I didn't say anything. And for a woman who is used to receiving more messages, that's like a gentle slap to the ego, but with class. And if she doesn't respond, all the better, because you're not looking for attention. You're leaving a phrase hanging, a phrase that can't be answered with a generic emoji. Not everything is said to get something, sometimes it's said to provoke something. And if you learn to play with silence, with mystery, with the weight of your words when you decide to speak, you're no longer just another greeter. You're the one who, without saying good morning, makes her think about you all day long. Sentence 3. Today I woke up with a smile. I blame you. This sentence is not a pickup line. It's a way of saying, I thought of you and it did me good. It's unadorned, it doesn't beg for attention, but it makes it clear that her presence has an effect on you. And most importantly, you say it without losing your balance. Today I woke up with a smile. I blamed you. That's emotional power expressed calmly. And a woman notices it right away because she's used to two extremes. He's a cold guy who doesn't say anything and he's full of empty phrases as if the world revolved around her. You do neither. You say it simply, without pressure, with the certainty of someone who knows what she feels and doesn't need to inflate it for it to work. Why does this sentence work? Because it's honest, light, and emotionally precise. It doesn't promise anything, it doesn't exaggerate, it just communicates an internal state where she's present, but not as a necessity, but as an influence. Now imagine that you write to her in the morning, just the sentence, no emojis, no exclamation marks. Today I woke up with a smile, I blame you. She reads it, smiles, and thinks about it, because it's not something she hears every day, it's not something just anyone says. And if she responds, great. And if she doesn't respond, that's fine too, because you didn't say it to seek a reaction. You said it because you felt it, and that difference is felt on the other side. A man who can speak from the center of his emotion without overcompensating, without hiding, and without losing his firmness. It creates a silent impact that often lasts longer than a brilliant sentence. Today you didn't say good morning, you said something that leaves a trace, and in that small change there's a big difference. Sentence 4. If you're reading this, my morning was already worth it. This sentence doesn't ask for anything, it doesn't seek anything, it only suggests. And that's precisely what makes it powerful. If you're reading this, my morning was already worth it. You're telling her that just by existing she's already generated something positive in you, but you do it with such measured elegance that she can't decide whether to smile or continue reading your message with more attention. You're not saying, you're my world, and I can't wake up well without you. You're saying, I like you, but from my center. And for a woman who's used to being the center of attention, that's magnetic, or it works because it has the right tone. It's not saccharine, but it's emotional. It's not provocative, but it insinuates closeness and also doesn't make her responsible for your state of being, it just makes her a part of it. That creates something very subtle, a connection without pressure. And that's worth gold in emotional terms. For example, you write to her in the morning, just that, without emojis, without an introduction. If you're reading this, my morning was already worth it. She reads it and smiles because she knows that just by being present she generated something and you made it noticeable without seeming needy. And if she doesn't respond, it doesn't matter, because it wasn't a question, it was an affirmation. And when you affirm something from a place of calm, the person receiving it processes it very differently. This phrase doesn't seek attention, it conveys emotion, and that has much more power because words that don't sound like a strategy are the ones that get past her defenses most easily. You didn't say good morning today, you said something that could make her feel good without touching her ego, and from there the attraction starts to grow without her realizing it. Phrase 5. Today I woke up without needing to talk to you, but with a lot of desire. This phrase doesn't seek approval. It's not disguised as a compliment, nor does it pretend to sound perfect. What it does is more subtle and more impactful. It declares interest without begging. Nothing. Today I woke up without needing to talk to you, but with a lot of desire. It's a phrase that combines two ideas that seem opposite, and that's why it works so well. On the one hand, you're telling her that you don't depend on her. You're not writing because you're missing something. Your life is fine, your center is firm, but within that balance there is also room for desire. And that is magnetic to her. Most men only know how to show two extremes, coldness or need. They are either distant or they jump in headfirst begging for attention. You, on the other hand, are showing her that desire can be felt from a place of calm. That is what sets this phrase apart. You are not saying I need you. You are saying I would like to, but I don't need anything. Now imagine that you write to her in the morning. No emojis or excuses, just today I woke up without needing to talk to you, but with a lot of desire. She reads it, stops and probably doesn't know how to react, because it doesn't seem like a romantic message, but it is not indifferent either. It is the type of phrase that provokes without pushing. And if she responds, perfect. And if not, that's fine too. Because this line doesn't expect anything, it just affirms. And in that affirmation lies all the power. True attraction does not come from desperate desire, it comes from well-placed desire. And a man who can feel without losing himself, who can desire without becoming dependent, is a man she doesn't forget. Today you didn't say good morning, you said I have myself, but I think of you. And that in her world is worth more than any recycled poem. Sentence 6. I don't know if I dreamed about you, but I woke up wanting you close. This sentence is like a mental caress. It doesn't scream, it doesn't beg, it only insinuates what many keep silent. I don't know if I dreamed about you, but I woke up wanting you close. You're not describing anything concrete. You're not telling the typical dream where you hold hands and dance under the moon. You're saying that there was something in the air, something in waking up, that brought her to your mind without permission. That's what makes it powerful. It's not literal, it's emotional. And when a woman receives something like that, she feels like she's not reading just another message, she's reading a real emotion. That belongs to her a little bit. This phrase works because you show yourself to be open without being cheesy, because you speak to her from a place of feeling, not from the intention of winning her over. And because there are no promises or exaggerations, just an emotional statement that leaves her thinking. For example, in the morning you write just the phrase, without emojis, without context. I don't know if I dreamed about you, but I woke up wanting you close. She sees it. You don't know if it's a romantic wink, a random phrase or the beginning of something more. And that's precisely where the effect lies in controlled emotional ambiguity, and if she responds you can let it flow. And if not, it's okay because you didn't write looking for a response, you wrote because something internal wanted to be expressed and that difference is noticeable. This phrase isn't for every day. It's for those moments when your energy is clear, firm and connected. And from there you can say things that don't sound like a strategy, they sound like truth. Today you didn't say good morning, today you said, I don't know if you were in my dream, but you are in my mind. And that can stay with her all day long. It's not what you say, it's where you say it from. That's how she feels. Today you saw that repeating good morning can sound kind, but it can also be a sign of someone acting without awareness. And that's not what a man with direction does. Stoicism teaches us to speak from intention, not from the need to be heard, to act calmly, not on impulse. And that also applies when writing to a woman. Each phrase you learned here has a purpose. Say less, but mean more. Don't talk for the sake of talking, but speak when you have something worth saying. Because when you communicate from your center, from your balance, she doesn't feel pressure, she feels presence. Now I ask you, which of these phrases connects most with your style? Which one can you say without ceasing to be yourself? Leave it in the comments. This channel is not for learning how to seduce, it is for learning to express yourself with clarity, firmness, and emotional control. If this content helped you see things more consciously, subscribe, activate the bell, and share it with that friend who still thinks that saying good morning, beautiful, is enough. Do him a favor, show him that when a man controls his language, he also controls his energy. See you in the next video. And remember, a stoic man does not repeat what everyone else says. He says what only he can say at the right time, with the right words, and with the calm of someone who does not need approval to leave an impression.